Hi, and welcome to the first video on a series of videos on differentiability. Sa mga susunod na videos, i-describe natin and i-define what differentiability means. But for this first video, our objective is quite modest. We just want to give an intuitive notion of differentiability of a function f of xy. Later pa natin i-define siya formally. So for now, very intuitive lang yung discussion natin. What is differentiability? Intuitively. Para ma-discuss yan, let's just recall that if you have a function y equals f of x, so one variable case, pag sinabi natin differentiable at x equals a, ang ibig natin sabihin nan is that f prime evaluated at a exists. And we also saw from Math 21 that if a function is differentiable, ang isang consequence nun is that f is approximated by its tangent line at that point. So as an example, yung graph natin dito na y equals x squared, this is differentiable at x equals 0. Actually, at any x na. Pero let's just look, or let's say at x equals 1, halimbawa. Kasi if you look at the derivative at x equals 1, the value is 2 times 1. So that's a defined number. Tapos, ang ibig lang nung sabihin, kapag daw zoom natin siya at x equals 1, sa katulad ng ginagawa ko, yung function natin na kanina yung curve, nagmumukha na siyang line. So it's approximated by a line. Okay. In contrast, kapag meron kang function na hindi differentiable, like this function here, y equals absolute value of x, hindi siya differentiable at x equals 0. So kahit anong zoom natin dyan at x equals 0, kahit gaano ka pa katagal mag-zoom, that will not look like a line. Okay? So that's not differentiable. So gusto natin, yung pag-define natin ng differentiability for a function f of xy, naka-capture tong consequence na yan kasi maganda yung consequence na yan, may applications yan in approximation and other stuff. Okay? So later we will define differentiability formally. Okay, siguro sabihin ko na ngayon, it does not mean that the partial derivative exists. Kasi baka hula niya, diba? Kasi dito sa one variable case, sabi, pag differentiable, ibig sabihin the derivative exists. So siguro pag i-generalize lang natin yan, baka a function is differentiable if its partial derivative exists. But actually, that's not what it means. Okay, it means more. Intuitively, ang gusto nating sabihin is that f is differentiable at a point kapag na-approximate siya by a plane. Ito na yung analog na. For one dimension, yung curve natin nagmumukhang line. Yung sa two dimensions, kapag two na yung input natin, dalawa na input, x and y, gusto natin yung surface natin na approximate ng isang plane. Okay? So halimbawa itong x squared plus y squared, pag tinignan natin siya sa origin, pag zoom natin yung function natin, nag-zoom na ako ngayon. So, curve pa rin. Pero pag tinodo natin yung zoom, nagmumukha na ba siyang flat? Okay, medyo mukha na yatang flat. Pero sige, zoom pa. Ayan. So, malalim na yung pagkaka-zoom natin. So, medyo nagiging flat na talaga. So, yung function natin, kapag malapit tayo sa origin, ay nagmumukha siyang plane. So, ang gusto natin, tatawagin natin itong differentiable at x equals 0 and y equals 0. Ito yung gusto nating sabihin differentiable. Ayan, mukha na siyang plane, di ba? On the other hand, kapag tingnan natin halimbawa yung function x to the 1/3, y to the 1/3, ganito yung tsura niya. Okay? So, kapag zoom natin siya at the origin, okay, zoom ko siya ngayon, kung mapapansin nyo, kahit gaano tayo katagal mag-zoom, hindi yan magmumukhang plane. Na? Kasi kung titingnan nyo yung itsura niya. Okay. So, ito yung gusto nating tawagin na hindi differentiable kasi hindi siya nagmumukhang plane. Okay. So this function is not differentiable at x equals 0 and y equals 0. Okay? So again, yung f of xy equals x squared plus y squared, gusto natin differentiable siya at 0, 0 kasi it's approximated by a plane near 0, 0. Tapos yung f of xy equals x to the 1/3, y to the 1/3. Gusto natin hindi siya differentiable at x equals 0, y equals 0. So sa concept ng differentiability, mahalaga yung konsepto ng tangent plane. So that's what we will be discussing next. Ano ba yung tinatawag na tangent plane? So for this video, ang ginawa lang natin ay magbigay ng intuitive notion of differentiability. And that intuitive notion has something to do with our function being approximated by a plane.